The Steve Batton Show, Freedom 1110, WKQA.
Let me see if we have Governor Allen on the line. Did I successfully get you on the phone here, sir?
Yeah, you got me on the phone.
All right, Your Excellency, we're glad to have you. You know I got to call you that at least once every time I talk to you, right? Because I know how much
you know how I despise that, because I don't like monarchies.
That's why I do it, because I know you love that time. Listen, thank you for joining us. It was good to see you the other day. I saw you here in Virginia Beach, and it was good to spend a little time with you. One thing that's always amazed me about you is that it doesn't matter how long it's been since you've seen someone, you remember them, who they are, and the last time you saw them. How are you able to do that?
I don't know. I like people. I don't remember everyone. There's just, but I do like people, and especially folks like you. When you showed up, Steve, I said, "All right, this is a big deal event." And but there were a lot of folks who've been longtime supporters. Jason Miaris, where we saw each other at the town center reception forum, he helped out in my 2000 campaign and was a young graduate from James Madison University and just a very loyal, hardworking young man. And through the years, he stayed involved in public service efforts and various races and for various candidates, including the Congressman Ridgel, and now he's running himself, and I think he'll be a very conscientious, thoughtful delegate who I know is well-grounded in foundational principles and appreciates freedom. And I was glad to see his mother there, who once, obviously, they all came out of Cuba and left there before the Castro regime completely ruined their lives.
She fled Cuba, I think, in 1965.
Yeah, so they're lucky they got out, because Castro was in for, I reckon about 4 or 5 years by then. And I find that people who have come to this country, whether from Cuba or from Central European countries that were once part of the Soviet Union, and people from Vietnam, for example, they all appreciate freedom and came to the United States for the opportunities that we have with freedom of religion and freedom of expression and private ownership of property and the rule of law, where our God-given rights are protected by the courts and by our Constitution. And so I find those folks very often are the most persuasive speakers for what makes America great, and that's entrepreneurism and self-reliance, taking care of oneself and one's family, and your own hard work, your own diligence and ingenuity. It determines how well you do, as opposed to a government owning the property or some theocracy owning the property, and you don't own it and you don't have the same sort of incentives we have here in our country, which is what I think built America.
I agree with you 100%. And we both, at least I learned something new about Jason the other day, and judging from the look on your face, you didn't know this either. He met his wife at one of your events, as it turns out.
That was great. I didn't know that either. I knew it. Obviously, I know Paige and knew her ma as well, who I had appointed to some boards. But that's great. I'll say, the most important institution in our society is the family, and it's great that a family was started in the midst of a campaign. There's a good positive result.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you and I were chatting just a few moments ago before the phone problem, and you told me you're about to head out west for a little while. What's going on there?
I'm doing a variety of different things on various boards, including Armada Hoffler's board, which is headquartered there at the beach. I'm also Reagan Ranch Presidential Scholar for the Young Americas Foundation, and they have an annual high school conference, and about, around 100 high school students go out to Santa Barbara to the Reagan Ranch, and I'm giving the opening banquet speech to these youngsters who are generally juniors and seniors in high school. They'll be voting for the very first time next year. And then I also have gotten Coach John Gruden to come and speak to the lunch on Friday. So if they don't get enough sports and football analogies out of me, he'll give them 100% full dose. But I do think there are a lot of principles that apply to life and governance that one gets from from sports and in football, and it's everything from the level playing field of equal opportunity. There's accountability, there's measurement, there's competitiveness, there's personal and team responsibility, and you get knocked down, you get back up, you learn from your mistakes, you don't brood over them. But most of all, I do think it's that meritocracy aspect of sports, where you got a level playing field, everyone, regardless of their background or their race or their religion or where they're from, has an equal opportunity to make the team. And what matters is not their background. It's can you block, can you tackle, can you kick, and that's what we should aspire to in our society. That everyone has that equal opportunity, not equal results, but equal opportunity. And the results are determined by the players, the team, the coaches, their strategies, and execution. No one goes to any game to watch the zebras officiate, and you want the players and the teams to determine it. Just like in the free market system, we don't want the government telling us who has the best product or service. The customers decide that, and the role of government is make sure you do have that level playing field, the right tax policies, minimal regulatory approaches that are not overbearing, that harm the free enterprise system. Make sure we have affordable, reliable energy, and particularly at the state and local level, good quality education, so that young people are getting an education, because the best jobs go to the best prepared. And if you want to be the world capital of innovation, you got to have the right tax policies, reasonable regulations, affordable energy, and a skilled, capable workforce. And so all of those are, to me, the essentials for our country to be even better and thriving.
I absolutely agree with you. We'll talk more about how we achieve some of that coming up here in just a moment. Governor Allen has agreed to stay with us for just a few more moments. We'll be happy to talk with him. Right, 5:20 right now. Traffic and weather together. Here's Randy Alexander.